obviously we have a big gun violence problem in the United States of America, and I talk about mental health because obviously that's a part of what's going on here. It's what they say is, well, every other country has mental health, meaning advocates of strict gun laws say every other country has mental health problems, but they don't have the same gun violence problem that we do. It's actually not totally true. If you look at like SSRI prescriptions, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, it's like Prozac, that category of mental health therapeutics. We take something like 6 times as much as our peer countries economically. So clearly there's something with mental health treatment in the United States that is very, very broken.
There's also a direct correlation between school shooters, mass shooters, and SSRIs.
So let's stop there for a minute. A lot of people out there would ridicule Joe Rogan and JD Vance from kind of sitting here and opining about mass shootings because there's all these scientists out there saying, trust the science, these drugs aren't related. It's not true. These SSRI medications, we already know they can cause behavioral problems. They can make people suicidal. They can cause mania. They can cause disinhibition. How would that not push an unstable person towards engaging in some homicidal behavior? In fact, courts have found drugs responsible for homicidal behavior before. For instance, there was a case of Donald Shell in Wyoming who killed his wife, daughter, and granddaughter. His son-in-law sued SmithKline Beecham at the time for failure to warn about the risks of violence. And there's been other cases out there just like this. So it has happened before. The problem in the United States is that when there is a mass shooting like this, everything is hush-hush. When I've seen studies look into this and they go and they try and freedom of information request the FBI to get the reports from the psychiatrists and such, it's all redacted or it's not there. And no one really wants to talk about this. No one wants to be the family of the guy who committed the mass shooting saying, oh, I think it was the drug that did that. Even if it was, I don't think it's going to quench the thirst for justice of the other people. It's just not going to happen. People don't investigate it and they just kind of move on. And the thing is, we need to be looking at these things when it comes to gun violence. We know the drugs have the potential to do this. And the reason we want to look into it is because you can go and get laws. You could go to the state legislature and say, hey, if someone's going to get on one of these medications, they need to sign off saying that they know the risks. We need to have a family member there who's going to say that they're going to monitor their behavior. There are things that we can do to reduce the risk of these things happening. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's just gun violence that causes this. Obviously, there's an element of social contagion. Obviously, there's an element of access to firearms as well in the US. But we got to look at the psychiatric medications. They definitely can push people into it.